Welcome to this video tutorial of how to upload a VExpressions expansion pack to the Roland TD-8 drum module. The things that you will need are the Roland module itself, a USB MIDI interface cable, in this case the Roland UM1 MK2, which is what VExpressions currently recommends. There may be other cables or interfaces that might work, but this is what I will be using for this tutorial. We'll need a computer, and finally the files given to us from VExpressions. This computer will need a USB port and an internet connection. We will want to download a couple of programs off the web that are not included in the files provided by VExpressions. So let's begin. First, let's make the cable connections. It's okay to leave all your other cables connected if you so choose, or you can unplug them all if your computer isn't near your drum set. This procedure only requires the MIDI connection to the computer and power to the module. So grab your cable and plug this one into the MIDI in. And this one into the MIDI out. Before you connect the USB end to your laptop, be sure you have installed any necessary drivers. Click the link above for my basic introduction to the Roland UM1 MK2 for more information. So my laptop is running Windows 10, so I do not need to install a driver as it's already included in Windows 10. So I simply plug in the cable. The first time you do have to wait a little while for Windows to install the driver, but subsequent times it's very fast. And when the driver and the computer, everything is working correctly, you will get the USB LED on the cable to light up. Next, turn on the drum module and verify that the in LED is lit. So with all my connections verified, I'm ready for the next step. We'll need to download and install a program to transfer the data. VExpressions recommends VDrum Librarian. It's an excellent program, and I've also had success with MIDI-OX. You can choose one or the other or some other similar program you may be aware of. You only need one, but I will demo both VDrum Librarian and MIDI-OX for this tutorial. VDrum Librarian can be downloaded from their website at vdrumlib.com. You can try it for 10 days, and then after that you'll need to buy it if you'd like to continue using it. Now, this program is designed specifically for use with Roland VDrum modules and contains many useful long-term features. MIDI-OX can be downloaded from their website at MIDI-OX.com. This is known as freeware, which means it is developed and maintained by enthusiasts that take on projects such as this as kind of hobbies or passions. You can donate to them if you so choose. Otherwise, the program is completely free. It is a general purpose MIDI program that will do everything that we require to get VExpressions uploaded to our module. Because it's a general use program, the benefit to MIDI-OX is that you can use it for other MIDI work, not just for Roland VDrums. So let's first download and install VDrum Librarian. I'm going to click on the Try It. Download is finished. open this file. It's a very, very simple installation. And that's it. All right, so let's go run it. And it warns us that this program is not free. It is an evaluation version of copyrighted software. Okay. So we know we have 10 days, and then if you want to use it past the 10 days, you must purchase a license. So I'm just going to go through both of these programs just enough to get the VExpressions packs uploaded. At some point I might do a more in-depth tutorial about both programs, and if I do, I will have a link up here for VDrum Kit Librarian, and also a link up here for MIDI-OX. So if there's no links up there, that means I haven't gotten to it yet. So with VDrum Librarian installed, we are first going to use it to create a backup of our existing TD-8 kits. Now, if you don't have any custom kits, you can skip this step, as you can always do a factory reset later if you so choose. But let's do a backup, assuming we have some custom kits, which in my case I do. Got this one that I did the demo for, the 1-minute solo one-man band. I renamed it to Doug Band because I did customize it a little bit. I left it on kit number 6, and that's just for this demo. So when we back it up and restore, we'll watch for that kit number 6 Doug Band. All right, here we will select our TD-8 from the drop down, and you can see they have almost every roll-in module, certainly all of the ones in the last 20 years. Well, I don't see the TD4. Anyway, lots of modules. Very, very expansive roll-in collection here. TD-8. Then go to MIDI, receive sysx data. Here we should see our UM1, yep. And then start. Now here we have to go to the TD-8 and send the bulk data. Setup, MIDI, bulk, all, and execute. And now you can see it receiving the data. So what we're doing is saving a backup of the TD-8 to your computer. You can do many backups using this software. If you change kits over time, or maybe have different kits and settings for different gigs, you can have many backups and just restore the right backup for the gig. It's very nice. With the TD-8, actually, there's no other way to do a backup. There's no sort of USB stick option. There's no compact flash, no roll-in memory card, so this is it. Okay, so on the TD-8 it is finished. Now VDrum Librarian doesn't know that it is finished, so you have to manually stop it. And then very important here is to click the Save button. If you don't save it, it's as if the backup never happened. So I will save it here. Now on your computer, obviously you can save it anywhere you want. And I'm going to call this TD-8 VDrum Lib, and then just the date. Or you could choose, whatever name that makes sense to you. Now you'll see I have another one from the TD-10, and this is how I will keep them separate. So I know which, if you have multiple modules, this makes sense. If you don't have multiple modules, it doesn't make sense. But that's what I will do. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, so now we're done creating our backup, and we want to send our VExpressions data from the computer to the TD-8. So we go to MIDI, send sysx file, and now we have to search on your computer for the VExpressions files. I've put mine here. And here's my TD-8 expressions pack. Open. Here again we select our cable and send. This is what we see on the module while we're sending data to it from the computer. And it's done. We've got these sweet kits. Now let's do the same procedures using MIDI-OX. Again, you do not need to use both programs. I'm just doing both for the sake of this demo. You can choose one or the other or something completely different that you may be aware of. So let's go down here to download. This is the latest version. Okay, open the file. And those files are automatically saved in the downloads folder on your computer if you ever need to use them again. So installing MIDI-OX is also very easy. So here in the end user license agreement, something most people usually skip, but if you read it, it will tell you here if you're planning to use this in a commercial capacity, you're supposed to pay. So it's only free for home use. If you're using this in a commercial capacity, and they give you some examples, then they want you to pay. And you do that by selecting one of these options. Now, I'm not going to fill this out just because I'm doing a demo. Okay, so let's open it up. MIDI-OX. Okay, so I've reset the TD-8 back, and we've got the Doug Band kit number 6 and all of our original Roland TD-8 kits back there. And we're going to run through the same procedures that we did with VDrum Lib. So select Options, MIDI Devices. This is a one-time setup. You need to select your cable in both the MIDI inputs and the MIDI outputs. They have to be highlighted here, otherwise it will not work. Then click OK. Also, we go to Options, and just make sure that this Pass sysx has a check, and it does, so we can just leave it alone. Okay, making sure that our Roland module is on, we want to go to View, sysx, and in this we go to sysx receive, manual dump. And now it's waiting. So you go to the TD-8 and do the same procedures as before. Setup, MIDI, bulk, all, and execute. And now you can see it receiving the data. So what we're doing is saving a backup of your module to your computer. Now again, you can do many of these using the software. So if you change kits over time, or maybe you have different kits and settings for different gigs, whatever, rehearsals, whatever you might do, you can have backups for all of your different situations, and then you just load up the backup for whatever gig you're going to, or even whatever mood you're in, whatever the case may be. It's just nice to have all these various backups. Okay, so again, MIDI-OX, it's not aware of when the dump is complete. So on the Roland module, it will tell you that, and then here you click the Done button. And then very important, we want to save this dump. If you don't save it, it's as if it never happened. So make sure you do this step. Display window, save as. And here again, you call it whatever you want. This is just what I've chosen to do for this demo. So here I'm going to keep everything the same except the name of the program. Everything else is the same. And I don't know if these dumps are compatible between programs. I've never tested that, and I don't intend to. There's really no reason. I just keep saving these files and keeping them separate. Okay, so now we're done creating our backup, and we want to send our VExpressions data from the computer to the Roland module. We close this, and it's View, SysX, and then File, Send SysX file. So now this is where we navigate to our VExpressions folder, wherever it is on your computer. This is where I've saved it on mine. And there it is. And it just goes for it. This is what we see on the module while we're sending data to it from the computer. And it's done. We've got these sweet kits. So we've successfully installed a VExpressions expansion pack to our Roland TD-8. Feel free to stick around and learn more about how to overcome errors and how to restore from backups, or you can simply just start enjoying your new kits. Now, I have seen times where you get checksum errors either on VDrum Librarian or on the module itself, and that happened to me with the TD-10 expanded, and if you want to check out that video, here it is. So what that turned out to be was I had an SYX file that was old and needed to get an updated one from VExpressions. So it just took an email to VExpressions and they sent the new file, and once I had the new file, everything went just totally fine, no errors at all. Okay, so now I will show you how to restore a backup using the backup we created earlier in this tutorial. Now there is one thing that we have to do slightly differently, and it's because we did a full backup. And I will show you that. So let's navigate to our backup, TD-8 dump. Now here, because we did a full backup, it's kind of big. And what happens is if you don't increase this message delay, you'll get an error, a buffer full error on the TD-8. And that is because VDrum Librarian is sending data faster than the TD-8 can handle it. So by setting this delay just to 25, it makes it go through just fine. Now if you read the VExpressions documentation on this, they just recommend doing a kit backup, or all the kits, not a full backup like I did. And you can play around with it. I just chose to do a full backup just to be safe. So if you do get that buffer full error, just say OK, come back to this page, change that message delay, and try it again. It's really no big deal. Okay, and now we're back. There's Doug Band on kit number 6. Next, I'll show you how to restore a backup using the backup we created earlier in this tutorial with MIDI-OX. It's the exact same procedure we used to upload the VExpressions pack, except this time we will choose the backup SYX file instead of the VExpressions SYX file. Alright, so view sysx file, send sysx file, and here we want to navigate to where our backups are, and in my case they are here. So I'm going to select the TD-8 MIDI-OX dump from earlier, and it goes for it. Now the MIDI-OX program is slow by default, so we won't run into any buffer overflow issues on the module. So again, this is just for demonstration purposes. If all you wanted to do was upload your VExpressions pack using MIDI-OX, we were done prior to this step. This is just demonstrating how to use backups in your day-to-day gigging life, or if you just wanted to restore back without doing a factory reset. This is one way to do that. Okay, and we're done. We're back to our original state.